special. So another reason to be here at Spring Creek. So we have a pretty big agenda. So we want to just kind of keep moving as quickly as we can, hopefully to be done by noon. So we're going to have some introductions. We'll have some financial reports. We're going to elect board members. We're going to have reports on some of the big projects we're doing, such as fire safety, water, and internet. Hopefully we're going to have time for questions and answers this year at the end of the meeting. So to begin with, I would like to introduce our board. This is a really energetic, busy board, really into getting projects done, doing things that, you know, all of us want to see happen for Spring Creek. So I'd like to start with our Vice President, Mike Tucker. He is also in charge of the Internet Committee. Mike is over there. Our CFO, Lori Michelle. She's also in charge of wildlife, and she's also on the nominating committee this year. So where's Lori? Hello there. Our webmaster is Vivian Wilcox. She does all kinds of digital communications. Our newsletter, Vicki Fogel-Michael. So Vicki, I think, might be on Zoom. She had a family emergency, so she couldn't be with us today, but she does our newsletter and just about all kinds of written communications for us. Fires, yes, indeed. He does a great job. Fire safety is David Frankel. So David chairs the fire safety committee as well. Really energetic group. Our historian is Jim Cunningham. Where are you, Jim? Here's over here. So Jim just keeps track of like our 50 or 60 years of records and all the boxes of that stuff, and he's totally into history. Our environmental director is Linda Halliday. And Linda has been working for many years on the noxious weeds removal as well. It's a big thing, part of our agreements with the Forest Service. The water system is Charles Clark. Where's Charles? There he is. Charles is a very busy man working for Spring Creek. There's a lot going on. And our secretary treasurer is Kathy Holden. Thanks, Kathy. There she is. So Kathy, of course, keeps our books and all that kind of stuff. She's a non-voting member of the board, and she's in charge of common sense. If you know Kathy, you know that's true. Okay. Did I did. I'll take it. Sure. Okay. So Vivian just wants to talk about the packets that are out.
Yeah. Put me in charge of communication. You get to hear what I did. Okay, every table should have a packet, and you're going to put your communication in that packet. On that communication, there should be a gray volunteer set. If you want to volunteer, there's lots of ways. Also, there should be a white page for volunteers, and Linda Halliday will tell us more about that when she gets up to speak. If you have any changes to your directory, and Karen, you got past Karen on your way in, please fill this out, only if you have changes and or corrections. And then this is an important one, questions or concerns for the board, because you'll be hearing lots of new information today. So please use this if you can, just send us a question, or you will have the opportunity to also ask questions during the open meeting. Okay, so, and then all of those go in this packet. So whoever's last at the table puts everything back in the packet, inside the packet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vivian. So we also have 5 or 6 new cabin owners this year. quite a few really. So we'd like to have them introduce themselves. So maybe just say your name, your lot number, or maybe this road you're on. Anything about what drew you to Spring Creek. So could we just we have a portable mic, so we'll just carry it around to you. So who's a new cabin owner here? What do we got?
Hi, I'm Sarah Rowan, and this is my husband, Henrik Rosendale. We bought cabin 21, which is the double address. You might know it as 941 Carrock Road. When we got it last year, it's 947 Matol. Is it Matol or Matoli? Great, thank you. So we're down there. We bought it from Original Family. How we found Spring Creek was just visiting Lake Tahoe, skiing, and in the summer and biking around. Wandered up here and we're like, what is this amazing haven? Absolutely heaven. Just spoke to our hearts, and we looked for years. Drove up to the Napa Valley. We drive up for the day, drive back if anything became available. And then when one of those day trips, Henrik found this cabin and he called me, said, this is it. So that was last October, and we're just couldn't be happier to be here.
Yes.
We've got 2 kids. They're 20 and 17. They're working their summer jobs, so they're not up here this weekend, but hopefully you'll see them. I think that's it. We cover the Oh, look, your big dog. My husband heard.
I just want to assume if we can't see it.
Oh, yeah, we're not screaming.
Okay, someone else.
Hey everybody, my name is Mark Wagon. We've been coming up to Spring Creek since the late 60s. In fact, we've had multiple cabins here. The one that I'm currently part of has been in the family long is on Karak, the 965 Karak, pretty close to these guys. One of the longest family-owned cabins here. My grandfather was part of this really early on, and I'm officially an owner. That's about it. Come down and have a glass of wine.
Thank you, Mike. Who else?
Okay, it's your turn.
Hello, I'm John, and this is Kristen. Our last name is pronounced Jalesia, but it's kind of hard to say. Jalesia, whatever. We are on, so we thought it was Matole, but that's a little bit Italian sneaking through. On 69, at near the end, near Charles Market, we saved us once. We were stuck in the snow, okay, so I came up quite a bit in the snow. We thought about a cabin for quite a while. We come up and ski and all, but and one day I come home and Kristen says, "Small thing you can get away to." And so she finds this cabin, and we get in line behind Hillary. And they got, but the next place that came up in 69, which you may have known Carol Morris, we got her place. We have a couple of boxers, brother and sister, which the bark collars are working wonderfully now. And they do love it up here. They love it in the snow, but they would sink in that deep snow. So anyway, and I look to see if anybody knows Mount Salak and wants to do it. I probably should be with someone that's done it before, but you know, yeah, not now. No, I got a year of training to do. So anyway, we're down in the Bay Area, and we come up pretty often. So it's great to be here. This is definitely heavenly here. So we found Spring Creek. There was no other place, no other option. This is amazing. So thanks, guys.
Right behind you. Oh, okay.
So we get the ones on Zoom, we're gonna stay. No. You did? Serious?
I did. I had to.
And together with one of my sisters, Julie Dunlap, and her husband. Sorry, I'm Sherry Dunlap with one of my sisters, Julie Dunlap, and her husband, Kevin John. We bought 16, which is where the farm is, in case you need to know. And we had a Forest Service cabin since 1956 that my grandparents bought up at Echo Summit, which unfortunately the Caldor Fire took care of. And since we've been coming up to the mountains for Forest Service has for so long, we had to have another one. And thank God we found this track, which is like a hidden treasure. So we have lots of people that come up to our cabin. We have 5 generations of kids. So what else do you need to know? We sit in the front and we love having people stop at happy hour and wave, and that's it.
Yes, you do.
Hillary?
Hi, I'm Hillary Middleton and my husband Al, who's here in spirit. And I've been coming up since the age of 9, not here to Spring Creek, but close by. Up Fallen Leaf Lake and then Tahoe Meadows down near the state line. So I've been waiting to get in here for my whole life. Basically, my grandmother didn't do it, my mother didn't do it, so I did it for them. Yeah. So I've been stopping in these Forest Service cabins up here for about 3 years, and it kind of happened last June at the end. So it's my husband, myself, and a lot of dogs. We usually bring 1 to 2 at a time. So I'm sorry. Our cabin is 1793 Spring Creek Road, lot 84, and it's the 2 green lounge chairs out in the back. So if anyone's walking by, bicycling by, you're welcome. So thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
All right. Well, wonderful to have you here. Is there anyone else? Oh, back here. Okay.
Hi, this is Cindy Foley. Can you hear me?
Hi, I'm Natalie McKenzie on lot 125, and we've just put it on the market. And so if you know any of your friends who would like a cabin, y'all are welcome. Thanks.
It's all there.
Everything
Control there.
And we're going to miss you. So one kind of standard part of our meeting is to hear a financial report. How's our money doing? So Laura Michelle will come up and give you her report.
Mute your phones, people.
It's too late to chime in now, but it's all right.
I need my support dog, Rusty, up here. I said I need my support dog, Rusty, up here. Anyway. So
Hey,
the good
can I
news
ask a
is
quick
that
question before you go on?
2023, we have 2 piles of money. One is for the operating expenses. All of our operating expenses, you can see on the website in the members area, and you can look at how it is itemized. But basically, our HOA dues, $575. I think they went up from, what were they, $525 to $575? Big increase with inflation. And we're doing very well. At the end of the year, we always compare the operating budget to the actual budget, the actual spending. And last year we were right on. So we're expecting that for this year as well. So just briefly, the dues go to snow removal, administration, the Forest Service dues, road repair, operation and testing of the water system, etc. So this is what our dues go for. In addition, we have a capital reserve. And those of you who were here, I forget how many years ago it was, not that long ago, we all had to come up, every cabin had to come up with, before we had a assessment every year, and then it was stopped. And what happened is that we had a lot of leaks in our water system and we didn't know where they were. A lot of the pipes had to be repaired. And yeah, a lot of the pipes had to be repaired. And every cabin had to come up with, over 4 or 5 years, I forget, over $20,000. Yeah, 23,000, some, yeah. So, in order to prevent that, because things happen up here, we have now, instated a 5-year assessment of $750, which is now due, I think, the end of July. And that assessment goes for our capital reserve. And what the capital reserve covers, lots of things. And more since our internet is, well, Mike will speak to that, but okay. So the capital reserve basically would be for road replacement and maintenance. That's way beyond what the operating expenses would cover, like a patch here and there. And this is a 10-year projection. That's why we're collecting the monies. The water pumps and motors, the tank maintenance, all these things are expensive. Future well maintenance projects, more pipe repairs, backup generator project, computer and office and water system, emergency reserve, new gate, which we're in the process of talking about, at the entrance. That gate's kind of falling apart. And we'll also cover, and Mike will go way more into this, we'll also cover the initial cost of getting an internet system here. So we are storing that money for these future projects, and as they, for example, we just put out, I think, $2,400 out of that for the initial testing of the internet. So that's what our capital reserve goes to prevent an emergency, $20,000 per cabin. So we're going to reassess. We're in this at the end of July, they're due. I've yet to pay mine. And then it will be, I think, for 2 more years till 2025, and then we'll reassess it. See how much monies we have and what the projects are, what pending projects there are. So that's for the capital reserve. And I think that's it.
Do wildlife.
Yeah, I'm going to do what I'll do, as Dave says, I'm going to do wildlife, my real interest. So everyone should see these green flyers, right? Green flyers, two-sided. I really hope that everyone takes one of these back to their cabin. Really, really hope. Those of you who've been here for a long time know that just a brief history, when my partner Cheryl and I bought our cabin in 2000, so 23 years ago, right then, we had quite a terrible incident. There was a bear that was getting into a cabin down at the bottom of the track, and people were leaving food out and not securing the cabin. So they called what was called then Fish and Game. Now it's called Fish and Wildlife, because I guess referring to animals as game was not was no longer a good term. So and I agree with the change. However, people, and I was under the illusion that a bear that was getting into cabins would be relocated. There is no relocation service in California. The bears, what happened was that Fish and Game came out, they put a trap with a mama bear who had 2 cubs. They caught the mama bear, shot her in the trap, and then shot the 2 cubs. And this is what happens. This will happen. That's the expression, a fed bear is a dead bear. That's what that means. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually feeding the bears. It can mean just as well that you're leaving your cabins unsecure, like you're leaving a pie. Bears recognize food. They recognize a refrigerator. That's why we have shutters on the cabins. What we do, and we just all try to do our best. What we do is we take everything, cosmetics and everything when we leave, and just have a box at home that we bring up here. But people just have to do their best. That's all. We also have a Rex dog, which is a barking dog. Now our dog can't stand it. He's sure it's a real dog, so it's very real sounding. also pine sol. You'll see a lot of that information on here. So breaks into your cabin, it's more likely to break into another cabin because it's like moving a rock for a bear. You know, oh, there's food under this rock. Maybe there's food under another rock. So we do it for our neighbors as well as for ourselves and for the safety of the bears. Shortly, just, another couple of things. We have a lot of other wild animals here, as we know. There's coyotes, there's porcupines, we've seen cougars, yeah, and bobcats, rare. There's deer. There's there's lots of other animals here. So we now have a dog. The rule of the Forest Service is these are all Forest Service roads. Dogs should be on leash. So again, here we do the best we can. My advice is if you see someone coming and you have a dog off leash, put the dog on the leash because a dog can run up to a person and knock them over with enthusiasm, can run up to a small dog and harass it. My small dog can run up to a big dog, whatever. So just please be respectful of other people. Also, if you have barking dogs that bark a lot, like incessantly, that's not cool either. I think none of our neighbors would like that. And picking up poop. What we do is we scoot it way off into, I think Kathy Holden told me about this trick. If you get a pine cone and you smush it, anyway, we have a slide. You smush it and then you toss it in the distance, What's that? Right, but you used to. But the small dogs you can do this with. I don't know about the big dogs, but just don't leave it. There's a lot of dog poop. There's also coyote poop, so who can tell? But anyway, just do your best and do your best with the bears. That's all we can do is just do our best and be aware that the bears are here before we want to protect them and we love them and we want to share this community with the animals that live here full time. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
You alluded to the barking dog.
Yeah.
No, I can't hear a word.
Mike on, John.
May not know what that is.
Okay.
We can start over.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just a minute, Lauren. We'll let him, because people can't hear him.
Comes up around your cabins.
It has a real nasty, scary sounding dog. And it's super effective. And I heard about it through Jeannie and Joel Pitney.
Yeah.
And whenever I leave, I turn that thing on and it's not user friendly for people either. And I really think it's a real helpful deterrent. So.
Yeah, it is. I agree. It's just that the real dogs hate it, but that's good. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is.
We've heard of this, Rex. Here it is. It's not so intimidating, but it's on a motion sensor, and then you can dial it to different, sensitivities that way. It could chirp like a frog. It could bark like a dog. There's a setting for babbling brook, but we set it right there. And it has a motion detector. And if you walk in front of our shutters, it barks.
Right.
And it does a really good job too. So we are proud that we've never been broken into by a bear. And I think Rex has a lot to do with it.
That. Yeah.
It's really simple, plugs in, set it and forget it. Thank you.
Yeah, and also you can set the range so it doesn't go off.
Yeah.
Absolutely every motion. Yeah. Any other questions?
I
comments?
would add that we had one that worked for years. And last year we had a mayor come right up and try and investigate it. So
Yeah, they're smart. I mean, they are really
you
smart,
get
so.
used to it.
Right, they do get used to it. The other thing, this is, by the way, this is from the Bear League. And I also encourage those of you who are interested in bears and to join the Bear League. It, as a, there's membership all the way from $35 to $250 a year, that kind of thing. They do really good work. They help people in the community when bears are hibernating under cabins that come out. They're really good people. Please take this with you. It has all the information. Thanks.
I would have one more thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We have had 2 cars destroyed by porcupines eating the wires and the brake lines. Both of them, one a hybrid and one a Tesla. And I understand that the porcupines love the batteries. It's something about the magnetic field of the battery draws them in. Over $5,000 worth of damage. So we now spray it with peppermint away. The pine sol didn't keep them out. So just to beware.
Thank you. Good to know. So I'm going to bring us back to finances. Last year, the board decided that we would like to start a financial advisory committee just for the purpose of having people who have experience within finance to make recommendations to us regarding, our procedures, provide some independent oversight of our growing capital fund, which is several $100,000 now, and then also to annually report to the members. So we were really lucky to have a very talented committee. I don't know how many decades of experience these people have, but it's a whole lot. So I'd like to bring up George Deese. George is chairing this committee, and he will introduce our committee and just make a short report. Thank you, George.
So as Dave mentioned, at the picnic last year, he asked for volunteers. The Finance Committee was formed last fall, and the official mandate is to advise the board on major projects, proper investment of any surplus funds, and anything else the board wants advice on. The members are Hal Dalmeyer, a retired investment advisor, Corey Silva, who's here, Corey in the back, a certified investment management consultant and analyst, myself, a retired corporate finance guy. We examined in depth the Water Committee report, which is on the website. Not much happening the next 2 years, thank heavens, less than 25K. So we recommended to the board, they invest, and the funds are now invested in CDs, money market funds, which will yield $9,000 a year interest. And a separate review insurance program, we're insured very, very well at reasonable cost. That's it.
So any questions for George before we let him go? Okay, thank you, committee, very, very much. Okay, next item of business is to elect board members. We have 3 members going off the board. Lori Michelle is coming back up again. So Lori and Vicki Fogel-Michaels. Vicki is our board member who is on Zoom. The 2 of them are our nominating committee, so they have a slate of new board members to present.
Something's embarrassing about being on the nominating committee and being one of the people nominated. Not like this at all. But anyway, let's see, Dave Frankel, Vivian Wilcox, and myself our positions are up for nomination. And we all submitted, information on, I think it went out by email with our pictures and, and our history and why we want to be nominated. And, anyway, I guess I have to, submit to the membership for nomination.
So just tell them.
Dick, yeah, Tom?
I move the nominations be accepted as presented.
Second.
Oh, wow.
Third.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Who was second? Who was second over here? Karen, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Embarrassment over. Thanks.
So they're having such a terrible time on the board, they're very wanting to come back. So our bylaws call for the ability to place nominations from the floor. So does someone want to nominate someone else? Okay, seeing no new nominations. I'd like to call for the question. All those in favor, we're going to do it by voice vote. All those in favor of nominating these, or of electing these three people, raise your hand, please. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That makes it very official. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, fire safety report. So this is from David Frankel, and he's very disappointed.
Thank you. Oh, press button?
Yeah.
Which one?
It's just like that.
Thank you very much, and thanks for re-electing me. Really appreciate that. Cool. First of all, I just want to say that we've achieved this year, but it's because of the committee members and that I've just been sort of an organizing function. But I would like to introduce the committee, and those of you that are here, please stand up, because really the committee has done the bulk of the work. The ones who inspected the cabins, not me. And they're also the ones who have done a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of some materials you're getting today. So we have a great committee. So we have Dick and Donna McElvain, who are unfortunately not able to attend, but Dick turns out he's a retired graphic designer, and he did the cabin cards that you're all receiving, which are really wonderful. Reed, I don't know if Warren Reed's here today. Wayne Luke, please stand up. I know Wayne's here. There he is back there, helped inspect the cabins. Kurt Landesman's here, generated the content for the fire safety card and also has helped with cabin inspections last year. I think he did over 50 cabins. Brian Heine here. Brian, wonderful, did cabin inspections, and so really appreciate all that. I want to talk about the FireWise certification. We did receive FireWise, as you all know. It's good for 3 years. So even though the certificate says 2022 on it, it is good for 3 years from then. Recently, the insurance commissioner, Richard Lara, as of January 1st, all insurers are going to be mandated to give us a discount for that, which is wonderful news. And as part of our FireWise certification, we don't need to re-inspect all the cabins again, but we are going to look at just cabins that had issues, which were mercifully few. So that's where it stands with FireWise. I'm going to go over some of the other things that our committee has done. The green waste bin is going to be here when the gate is open, roughly within a week or two. Currently, I had them change it out, so it's fairly empty right now. So should be plenty of opportunity for people to deposit things there. As we've done in years past, we're going to have chipping in the probably late August. And in order to get that done, you just need to put piles by the road. There's more detail on the website, and also I'll be putting out an email about that. But basically, piles of brush will be chipped, and the chips will be distributed around wherever they're left. And so you don't have to haul it to the green waste bin. Again, that's free of charge to us from Lake Valley Fire. During our re-inspection process of the cabins, if you would like your cabin inspected just for your own information, just email me. And when we do that, we look at your cabin and I'll send you a PDF of whatever we find in terms of fire prevention and things like that. I also want to credit the people who developed the cabin emergency cards that you've received. The purpose of those is really somebody's at your cabin, they don't know anything about Spring Creek Tract, a fire is spotted, they hear the siren, what are they supposed to do? Or they see a fire, what are they supposed to do? So if you can put this card in a place that's pretty prominent in your cabin, that would be fantastic. Refrigerator, front door, somewhere like that, where somebody could just see it and use it if needed. That card was developed by Kurt Landesman, Vicki Fogel-Michaels had it printed, and Dick McElvain laid it out. I also want to talk, whoa.
Just plug in.
Oh, great. Whoa. I also want to, quick question was raised about the markings on the trees. If a tree has a blue mark on it, that means that the Forest Service has marked it, and if it's near your cabin, you're responsible for having it removed. Leave it plugged in? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Want to unplug it? I think it's kind of echoey. If it's a red mark on the tree, likely that's from a utility company, and they will be removing that tree. And if you want a tree removed, you can email Kim Felton. Her email address is on the website, and she will come out and mark the tree if it is indeed dying or dead. But then you theoretically have 6 months to remove it at your expense. Last thing I want to talk about is something I'm really excited about, which is our home hardening event, which is going to be right here at 2:30. Mike Vollmer and Martin Goldberg are going to conduct it. There may be other special guests. But basically, we're going to have a lot of information on how to prevent your cabin from burning down in the event of a forest fire. One of the things we're going to focus on this year, because in our survey of the cabins, we've found a persistent problem, is decks. Generally, y'all have done a fantastic job of clearing your yards, but decks are really the weak link. And I would say our deck is a weak link because they're just ways in which they are more flammable. And then once they catch fire, they're going to ignite your cabin. So that's going to be a focus of this. So there'll be some new content. If you came to last year's event, there's going to be more about that. So that's it for me. I am open for questions for just a few minutes, and then I'm going to hand it off. Any questions from the floor? Yes.
What does black paint markings on a tree mean?
I don't know. A wildlife tree?
I think so.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
I want to say something. Okay. Question was, if someone is on Zoom, how do they get their chat? How do you get the word card for their cabin?
If they want to just email me, I will mail it to them, or if they can, I can leave it by their cabin if they're going to be here soon.
Okay, so email Dave Frankel.
Yeah, and if they want to just drop by the cabin, just tell me to do that, and I'll do that while I'm up here.
Not a question really. I was walking down the exit road, and there's a big tree there blocking it. So just in case you didn't know.
Thanks.
Actually, one of the volunteer on the chief page one, there's, if anybody would like to volunteer to get that removed.
Yeah, and I wanted to comment about that. Thanks for bringing that up, Stu. Last year after the annual meeting, myself and the members from the Fire Safety Committee walked and drove down the fire road and cut all the trees that were blocking it and looked at it. And actually Jim Cunningham was able to drive his two-wheel drive car down the fire road. So once we get the tree removed, it should be fairly passable. But yeah, it's a new tree though. We understand it's a new tree, and so it'll be dealt with. Yeah. Oh, it was gone yesterday. Wow. Wow. Who took it out? Anybody? Oh, you were out there. Thanks. All right. Thank you. All right. Any other questions? Oh, one over there.
Are we still required to have a fire permit to barbecue?
Yes, and yes. However, just to clarify, there are no wood fires allowed outside ever. It's a gas barbecue, and the permit is specific to the person filling out the permit. So if you have a gas barbecue outside, the permit's only good for you. It's not good for anybody else. They're pretty strict about that. Okay. Oh,
Hi, Norman, last fall, I like to walk around the roads and I'm an engineer, so I was looking at the culvert inlets and I noticed at a couple locations that trees had fallen at or near the culvert entrances. And so I took my chainsaw up on Palmer Road and I cut away these trees so the inlet would be clear. But I don't suppose that's under your purview. Is culvert inlets related to fallen trees, or who specifically, is there someone that is doing that? Well, I knew this would happen. I wasn't definitely asking the question. The answer is no. Is that, or is the cabin owners that are nearest to the inlet, could maybe they sort of focus on that and sort of, everybody would take care of their proportionate responsibility?
it's a really good question because like when the water melts suddenly, if the culvert's blocked, it can undermine the road. It's a big deal. Yeah, totally. And it has happened. I don't know. We're gonna have to think about that as a committee. I mean, you're the environmental director. Would that?
No, it's roads.
It's roads. So it's roads. It's roads. So we're going roads.
Okay, we need to go.
All right. Thanks a lot. And oh, I'm sorry.
Give him the mic.
Over roads. Should happen.
Okay. Roads. Okay. Thanks a lot. See you at the home hardening event.
So yeah, that's definitely roads, and that is Mike Tucker, but we're going to make an appeal on that one. And Norm, your name has come up. Next is the water. Lots of water projects going on. So Charles Clark.
Greetings. Last year, Jay Chupathy asked a question about the idea of a peak capacity on our well for firefighting. And we looked into that, and what we came up with was what we're going to do is going to swap out the constant speed 5 horsepower pump motor with a 10 horsepower variable speed 3-phase motor that we can run at a lower speed for normal operation and then speed up to full speed during a fire. So that gives us lots of flexibilities, one of which is that we can run the system without the tank. We can shut down the tank for cleaning and painting and still be able to run the system at full pressure with a variable speed pump. So that's a big deal. And it's going to take a lot to get that implemented. Basically $29,000 for the controls and another $14,000 for a new pump. So we're going to have a state-of-the-art system, the same as a municipal water system. Like we live in Pleasanton, basically all the wells in Pleasanton are variable speed systems there. So it's like commercial and utility grade stuff we're doing here. We're also doing a backup battery system 4 times what we have right now. We have 50 amp hours of lead acid batteries, and that's just not enough. We're putting in 200 amp hour backup batteries. So that'll give us 15 days of backup at the Poma building and 5 days at well 5 where the generator is, so we can recharge everything with the generator. And regarding the water tank, I don't know if you guys know that we had a major avalanche this last year, and it took out some major trees from upslope and threw them down. One of them was thrown at our water tank, and it survived, but there is a scratch. There's an 8-inch scratch on it. So the tree shattered when it hit the water tank. So we're going to need help cleaning up that tree, cutting it into pieces and throwing it into the abyss where the other 150 trees are that came down from that avalanche. And I'm also going to need some help preparing the Poma building. We want to paint the inside, so when we put the new battery backup system, it'll be against a painted wall instead of this mildewed, yucky wall. And I need some more help on well 4, way down in the forest, down by the beaver pond. It's just kind of maintenance and that by some painting. So if anybody wants to volunteer, and I highly recommend you do, we could just know. Thank you.
So there's a spot on the white paper for you all to volunteer for one of those jobs.
Questions? Okay. Wait.
I can yell it.
No.
You explored lithium ion?
But lead acid is really the cheapest solution. We have the space to store them and they last a long time. The one, it's like 10 years old now. 8 years old, but almost they're still good. The batteries are still good. So, anyway,